If you want to get as strong as fucking possible in the shortest period of time and increase your capacity to showcase your strength when doing a specific exercise, there's a couple things that you need to understand about the way the body is designed that should influence what you include into your strategy to maximally promote that response. So talk about a couple of these things real quick, and then I'll give you a blueprint of a strategy that takes all this into consideration. So first thing is, there's different types of muscular contractions. You got eccentric, isometric, concentric. Your capacity to produce force goes from highest to lowest in that order. You're capable of handling the greatest loads eccentrically. So your eccentric strength can be seen as your concentric strength increased potential or concentric strength's ceiling. If you can't lower a certain amount of weight, you can't expect to lift it anytime in the near future. So you can include eccentrics into your strategy to increase your capacity to showcase your concentric strength. Now, another thing you need to be aware of is that the body comes with its own built-in self-defense protective mechanisms. There are sensory organs located in the tendons of the muscle that are measuring how much tension is being produced. If it exceeds a certain threshold, it will communicate this information to the brain. It'll basically say that this situation is perceived to be potentially harmful or threatening, so shut down the whole fucking operation. And in most cases, these sensory organs are very conservative to the point that the average untrained individual can only really showcase 30 to 40% of their true strength potential. But you can desensitize these inhibitive protective mechanisms by lifting really fucking heavy weights. So there's other things that you can also include in your strategy to promote this. Now, force production is dependent on two primary variables: the muscle's contractile strength and the stretch reflex and elastic energy. Since both contribute to your capacity to showcase your strength, you're going to want to include methods and types of contractions into your strategy to actually develop both of these qualities. Now, as it relates to contractile strength, that's limited by two things: the size of the muscle and your capacity to recruit the muscle. So a bigger, stronger muscle has a higher force producing potential, but if it can't be recruited, then what's it worth? Now, as it relates to building muscle, that's a rather timely process. And if you want to get as strong as fucking possible in the shortest period of time, your focus needs to be on increasing your capacity to recruit the muscles on your body in their current state. And frequency of practice best develops the capacity to recruit. So I'll give you a blueprint of a strategy that takes all this into consideration. Now, this is for more so squats and bench presses, not really eccentric lifts, Olympic lifts, because you can't do a lot of the methods that are going to be included here. So mostly just for big, strong lifts. Deadlifts can be used as well, but not so much because it's very, very difficult to do a fucking eccentric deadlift. How are you going to lift a super duper heavy weight and then back up and then lower it? It's not really that practical. So the first day of the training week, you want to overload the muscles responsible for producing force to perform the direction of effort. This is the day you want to work on eccentric strength, which is your concentric strength increase potential. And you also want to include partials so that you can overload the muscles and desensitize inhibitive protective mechanisms. On the second day, you want to just practice the technique. You're going to use a lighter amount of weight, 70 to 80% of what you could use, and you're going to focus on developing inter and intramuscular coordination. Just get really good at the fucking lift that you want to get good at. But don't do it in a way where the weights are so fucking heavy that you're damaging the muscles and you're taking away from your body's ability to recover from the work that you're doing. On the third day, you're going to want to include different types of contractions to train the muscle's contractile strength. So you want to do pause lifts to eliminate momentum, to remove the stretch reflex's contribution from the lift. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you want to do ballistic lifts to learn how to harness the power of the stretch reflex, since it contributes to your capacity to showcase your strength in the first place. To do this, even lighter weights are used. So you're going from heaviest to lighter and lighter. Then take a day off, and you want to learn to integrate all these qualities that you've developed into the lift that you actually want to get better at. So even if you increased your strength of the muscles, increased your ability to do the exercise with a lighter amount of weight, and trained different qualities, this does not guarantee that you'll actually be better at the lift. You actually have to practice the lift the way you want to get better at it. So you have to do really fucking heavy lifts and practice showcasing your strength. So that's an example of a strategy right there. As for days off, take them as needed. The reason the work is segmented the way that it is so that you can approach each of these qualities that you want to develop with the greatest level of focus, intensity, concentration, and effort as possible. Training to build muscle and get stronger is a subjective experience. There's no sets and reps here. Do what you feel you need, but try not to overwork your capacity to recover. And understand that the heavier you're lifting, the greater recovery requirement there's going to be. Unless, of course, you're just fucking killing it on these 2 days and doing like hundreds of reps, which is not what you're there to do. It's about quality, not quantity. So if performance starts to decline, set is over or workout is over. Go home and rest. Now, as for off days, you're going to want to have an off day before day 1 and before day 4, because because that's when you're lifting the heaviest amount of weight. You could do day 2 after day 1 if you wanted, and then take a day off, and then take a day off between day 3 and day 4, or you could do the first 3 days in a row. It's really based on what your body is telling you and how you're going to be able to perform. Gauge everything by performance. So that's something I wanted to share real quick, because a lot of people have been coming to me saying, I want to get stronger, but I'm stuck. I can't lift any more weight. I don't know what to do. They don't understand the way the body is designed and what they can include into their strategy to get a greater return on investment than they're currently getting. So I wanted to share that real quick. You like the information, share it. Click the fucking button at the bottom, subscribe to the channel, and I'll keep bringing you the best information you're going to find as it relates to training to build muscle and get stronger.